And we are here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Dollar General 75. This is the season finale for the regular season and the race before the chase. I am joined here with my colleague Connor Meyer.
Hello.
And we are going to be getting ready for the start of the race. We'll start by going through the lineup. Starting up front, we have Kyle Keith and the 42 Energizer starting alongside Connor Meyer and the JBL Toyota.
Starting third is Scott Porter alongside of Anissa Johnson.
And teammate of Anissa Johnson starting behind her, that is Louise McClure alongside Brett Pritchard. Also keeping a note with the Dodge versus Toyota war we have going on, there's about 4 or 5 cars all in succession right there to start off this beginning part.
And then next we have Austin Young's
And Brett Pritchard starting alongside Aaron Douglas.
That's Russ Blackwell actually in the 55. And then we have
My bad on that one. And then Thor Gunnarsson starting alongside Andrew Weisbecker.
we have Big Rick Johnson.
Taka Steele in the Lord Code 99 starting alongside Tim Salmon in the 91.
And then we have Caitlin Marie alongside of Jay Langelier.
And that's in the 62 starting alongside Ty Stroglabber in the 88.
And Big Man alongside of Brad Smith.
Edward Manning in his new double mint 95 starting alongside Benjamin Thomas.
Then we have Trenton McPherson alongside of Scott Vickers.
Previous week winner Arthur Xavier starting alongside Evan Coward in the 83.
An Elusive Man starts alongside of J.R. Lemon.
Jonathan Rains starting in the Dr. Pepper 77. And then we have Timmy Weathers in the Dude Wipes 35.
Ryan DeLusso starts behind them alongside of Kenny Bombera.
Joey Sanders, points leader, starting alongside the number 79 car of Justin Osborne.
And rounding out the field, we have David Walsh alongside of Chris Moore.
Chris Moore, the replacement driver for Spencer Davis, who is still out from the concussion. He is actually now awake and somewhat moving, but he has motor skills to improve on. So we are still giving him much needed support out to that team and the driver and his family. And let's talk about our front row, specifically to first and third. It's every time we go to the mile and a half, it seems like Keith Motorsports always has a powerhouse.
Exactly, and they have 3 of their 4 cars in the top 10 starting.
Pretty damn impressive, especially since, actually I have to say, just in whole, the 55 team has made a really nice comeback in the later part of the season. He's been up front a lot more often than he used to be.
Yeah, I think he's actually too far out of the chase where even a win won't necessarily help him. But he can definitely get some good momentum going for next season.
With it being so close to This was all, and especially since we're going for tracks like this more often next year, these are great notes to take away. And so it's a big race to learn from. And then, of course, this is the final race of the regular season. So we'll be heading to Homestead next week, and 16 cars will look very different for the chase.
That's right, they're going to be all lime greened out.
Lime green and blue, Lowe's for Pros chase. They've got still a bunch of spots open, so some drivers will be making it in on points. And we have most of our guys going in off of wins. We're about to take the green flag. 42 of Kyle Keith will lead us as soon as he hits the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. 42 and 29 take us away.
That's right, the 29, one of those cars that's in the chase just based off of points.
Definitely is. So a win is what he is certainly looking for. Another car in the same boat is currently in the 6th position. That is Anissa Johnson in her Western Auto Parts America Dodge. The inside row with the full head of steam is trying to move up quickly. 42 may actually just be off pace. That car is dropping back rather quickly, but I'm wondering if that's just because the outer edge hasn't taken off yet.
Yeah, this looks like the inside line's the place to be right now.
So a fight to get to the inside is what's going to happen there. Scott Porter with a nice early lead has Austin Yoko trailing his rear bumper.
And right behind him, Brandon Krasta.
Brandon Krasta is a driver who's had bad luck just all season long. He'll get up there, he'll lead, or he'll be involved in a wreck. But this is a guy he's a good contender, he's a good driver. He just never gets the chance to finish it off. Something always goes wrong with this car.
But if he would win this race, that'd put him in the chase.
It would. He is still chase eligible. So if they can get something together and keep his stuff in line, then yes, he's got a really good shot. It's just a matter of pulling that off.
And another driver in that same position as the car that's passing him right now, Tim Salmon.
Speaking of the Dodge drivers, Tim Salmon and Biggert Johnson, that Red Bull Dodge, they both need a win that would really get them into the chase. Salmon's really in that kind of that cutoff zone to where he can make it in from this race, but a win would just make that more gratifying. And Titus, who, if he did win this race, would also be locked in.
Yeah, Titus has one win, but he's currently 32nd in points.
And 16 points away from making the eligibility on win. So if he gets that 16-point gap made up, then yes, he will be able to get into the chase.
But one of the cars he's racing for that 30th position is the 91.
And that is currently breaking out of the top 10. Something I want to kind of talk to you about too is we discussed this last race, is that Dodge, the last time they won, they did the double, 2 wins in a row. But then they had bad luck the following race. They're showing good luck early on, but do you think this will last?
I mean, just based off of trends, no.
They showed
after they won those 2 races earlier, they had a really bad next race.
They had multiple failures at Talladega, and then were involved in the big wrecks and lost that quite fast, that momentum, as Trenton just took the lead from Biggert Johnson. We have a car with a blown engine, and that's our points leader of Joey Sanders. We just been talking about before we started our race. And the only way he would lose his spot leading the chase is if he were to fail from this race, and that's exactly what happened tonight. The first failure is a Toyota.
Well, I mean, I guess the only thing that can help him is, I mean, if the 12 and the 42 have failures.
Well, the interesting thing here, he's still locked in based on the wins, but the bat will help points-wise to our non-chasers. And the 62 just got really loose out of the corner. He almost hit the wall. Good save on Ernesto. But that's also a big worry for our Toyota drivers. That's the first failure being a Toyota. You have a young guy who has done nothing, honestly, but DNF out of races. That is Edward Manning in the 95 car. He is currently in the 7th spot.
Now, even, with all of his failures, he's still able to get, pretty big sponsor with Dolomit on this week.
Maybe that was just the issue, was sponsoring and funding, and with how tight the racing's been in our sport lately, having just a little bit of an edge is a big help. Dodge's success lately in the season has been helping them keep up front, and then here he is finally. Oh, and we have contact. The teammates, the 5 and 24 got together. The 5 car spun up with the teammate 24, and he gets hit hard by Austin Yoakum. The 87 car is flipping down the front straight. We have a massive wreck. Multiple cars involved. Titus is involved. Langelier is involved. The 5 car hits the 87. The 83 is involved. The 72 is involved. This is a huge wreck. Chasers and non-chasers
99 also involved.
Wow. What a violent wreck. What a simple spin went horribly wrong really fast. I mean, you saw, it happened right in front of us. The 5 car so they head into the corner. I think, yeah, Lemon got loose and hit Porter. Good save by Edward Manning. And that's where that part of the wreck happened. And then here, this is where Austin Yoakum comes into play. Wow, all 3 of those cars flipped. And they had just nowhere to go. He was slowly falling off the racetrack and moving forward. A huge flip to the 87 car. Multiple times he flipped. That's Luis McClure of Western Auto Racing. And there's nowhere to go. It just immediately turned into a roadblock.
Now with, the 51 was involved in that. He's locked in, though. The 8 was involved. He's locked in. This is going to hurt the 88. He's not going to be able to make it this year.
No, he is now out of the chase. Langelier will now be out of the chase. That's another Dodge that's
and
out.
So will Todd.
Yes,
Todd Castile will also be out.
I mean, that's just extremely unfortunate for these guys. There was so many guys who were in the cutoff that were winless and needed this to be a good race for them, and are now just out. It's just so unfortunate. There are so many cars involved in this wreck that didn't need to be involved in this wreck. Luis McClure walked away from his car under his own power. Austin Yoakum is also okay after the wreck. All of them are being taken to the infield care center to where they can be checked and make sure they are okay. Leading this race, first and second, is Western Auto Racing. That is Trent McPherson and Anissa Johnson.
Well, with the 88 out, that puts the 78 in kind of the 30th transfer spot area. So if he was to win, he would more than likely be in the chase.
I mean, another car that actually has a really good spot because of this wreck is Meyer Toyota Racing's 29 car. That is Connor Meyer. Because so many cars that were around in his bubble were involved in that wreck that might have secured his spot into the chase. He just needs to finish this race strong.
And definitely. But one of the cars that is chasing one of those spots was right behind him in the 35.
That's Timmy Weathers of Supreme Motorsports, his own satellite team. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go through your top 10. We already discussed the two leading, but we have our pole sitter of Kyle Keith in third. Chris Moore driving for Spencer Davis is in fourth. Edward Manning rounds out your top 5. The 79 car of Justin Osborne is being followed by Ryan DeLusso. Aaron Douglas in 8th. He won 2 races ago. The 93 car in 9th, and David Walsh, who flipped at Knoxville, is in 10th. For your top 15, unlikely story, we have the 63 car. He's being triumphant despite all. Winless driver Thor Gunnarsson trying to get his first win and regain more of a chance in the chase. More winless drivers, Benjamin Thomas and teammate Tim Salmon racing in the top 15 after losing one of their best drivers, Jay Langelier. And the rounding out of your top 10, another winless driver, ex-Manco Motorsports driver, Biggert Johnson in the Marathon Motorsports Red Bull number 2. Pretty interesting top 15.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars that you would expect to be up there, like the 95, like the 15.
We're about to go back to green flag racing. The 78 car leads us to the green. A couple drivers already trying to cycle back and forth. 42 and 95 both have a good head of steam. Lots of mix manufacturers. Everybody seems to have kind of a decent car today, which is good manufacturer-wise.
Yeah, it's been a surprise. Usually when one manufacturer does really good, you have another one that does really bad. Usually, Dodge does really good, and then Ford does bad. But now that all 4 manufacturers are up there,
it's pretty interesting, actually. It's a lot of fun to watch. As wow, Manning, who is a driver, I honestly, going into this race, he had a 0% chance of winning because he's DNF'd every single race he's participated in. And look at him riding here in second.
and he's trying to just play spoiler for his own benefit next season.
This is a driver that was being in talks of being kicked out of the team by next year by just the way he was driving. He was pretty much at this point considered to be somebody who couldn't do it. And here he is, racing his tail off today. We're down to just 30 cars remaining in this race.
Also, a new restart procedure for this race.
Yes, because we've had so many races where cars that were a lap down or causing issues on restarts, holding up other drivers. FARCA officials have changed it to where if you were a lap down at all, you have to start at the rear of the field in order of the laps you are down. This is to prevent wrecks on restarts and obstructing finishes, since we've had also lots of late race restarts to where it changes the outcome of the race. So this is to prevent against that. Big move there. Wow, Biggert Johnson just gained 2 spots on those Toyotas.
That's a couple of teammates right there too, the 95 and the 15.
There was some contact exchange there, but Walsh is in a hurry and trying to get back to those Dodgers. And we all know that he does have a beef against those Dodgers.
And Walsh has been confirmed to not be returning to the 15 car next season.
It is unknown as to where he is going to return to next season. Nothing has been signed or documented to that race team. Trenton McPherson is still your leader, and I believe he has led the most laps tonight. But here comes Biggert Johnson in an attempt for one of the biggest moves in his career, and that is a win. Let's not forget we also have Brad Smith. He is our currently highest race at Ford with satellite teammate Kevin Campbell following behind him.
Hooker's one of the Keith cars that wasn't involved in the accident with each other, and that's the 55 of Russ Blackwell.
Doesn't lead a lot of that team behind, but that is good for him. That is more of a chance for him to prove himself. The 24 car didn't suffer too much damage from that accident, but unfortunately it was enough for them to declare being out of the race itself. Only car scored on that.
Yeah, he's locked in.
What a block supplied by the 27. They're going to bunch up in this corner from going 3 wide. Anissa getting aggressive with the lapper Elusive Man. They're trying to move their way around that slower car off pace. You can tell it's causing quite problems.
And that's one of the reasons why we don't let the lap down cars start up front anymore.
Because it caused quite a jumble between all of those cars involved right there. Lots of cars, man, they're just off pace. That's going to cause some problems once we cycle back around to this. Just a quarter way into this race, this is all about survival. We have Big Rick Johnson versus David Walsh in that Circle K Toyota. Tim Salmon falling behind it, Trent McPherson, and Daytona winner Aaron Braun.
And Edward Manning, who's been running up front most of the day.
Yeah, he's been up front all race long, which is really it's a really nice effort coming from that powerhouse tonight. Drivers reporting
I'm not sure who led that lap.
Nothing but loose. Walsh did lead that lap. While we're having a nice clean streak, we're going to take an opportunity to let this get loud. Let's enjoy the sounds of these amazing V8s. And we'll be back with you guys momentarily. Hang on, let me put you on here. I think someone blew up. Not sure, but I will find out. Someone's too much down. I might have just seen someone play this deep green. You cycled back after the car helped you up, and you were scoring 32-3 now. Two spots ahead of you with 35, 35, 35. Oh, he's in 16 I never managed to die. Coming back. Oh, there's a rag. There's a rag. Oh, someone that's what happened. Are we actually on the yellow? Oh, no! And we have a yellow. We are back. Hero cars wrecking on the front stretch. That is Edward Manning, David Walsh, and Big Rick Johnson. Quite unfortunate for these guys. They were having such a great race. Man.
It's a couple of teammates. That's 2 Toyotas and a Dodge, first of all.
Yes, and let's go back and figure out what happened with those guys. I'm not sure what started that. Looks like the 15 was held up by the 93 and cut in front of Big Rick Johnson. That's because of lap traffic of the 28 and damage 72, who self-spun and recovered on the backstretch. But
And the
ouch,
95 just nowhere to go.
that's not going to help the rivalry of what's going on with those two teams.
That's also not going to help Big Rick, because when the 19 and the 99 wrecked, he had a chance to get into the chase.
He did, and that is now gone. And really good job for the 55 car. He came out of the corner full speed through the smoke with nowhere to go and threaded the needle. Hats off to Russ Blackwell. See those cars getting repairs on pit road. The 63 just got into the 21 on pit road. Currently leading.
Crass is not. He's not wrecking enough on track, so he has to do a little wreck in the pits.
Might as well, as he's always got a wreck somewhere. The 12 car was scored as the leader, but we're waiting for the cars to circle around. Currently shown is Scott Vickers in the 37 car. Scott Vickers coming and hoping for a great race tonight. Has been showing it so far, going onto pit road, however. That leaves Trenton McPherson in the 78, Justin Osborne following suit in the 79, Kevin Campbell in the 93, Aaron Gabron in the 12, and Tim Salmon for your top 5. Top 10 will be Tim Salmon in the, Caitlin Murray in the 92, Kyle Keith in the 42, Connor Meyer in the JBL 29, Brad Smith in the 9, and DeLusso in the 60. So a really good rebound for these Toyotas and what's remaining for the Keith Motorsports cars. And Dodge is still holding up strong.
You gotta wonder how long that's gonna last, though.
Well, I don't know. Trenton has had it. He's also in the driver's been really strong all race long. But he's never there at the end. He will lead the most laps, but then not hold through to the end. But another team that's been really strong all night is the Meyer Toyota team, despite one of their cars being involved in a wreck. But they don't really care if that car is already locked into the chase. They're trying to get that 29 car into the chase now and have 3 of their 4 cars locked in.
Well, after that last wreck, 2 of their cars getting taken off, the 15 and the 95.
It's been kind of interesting. Another thing I want to point out is it looks like none of these teams really have an established pit strategy. It just seems they're kind of winging it on these cautions.
I guess, with how long of a race it is, it doesn't really matter that much.
What's interesting is how much these drivers are reporting just how awful the track is. They said the tire compound's too hard and it's nothing but slick. They just feel like entering the corner and they're dicing it. You can see these cars getting sideways entering the corner. They're having to wheel it tonight. So after that wreck, we did lose another car towards a failure. That was the 62 car, had a transmission failure. Other cars tonight that have had some engine failures is the 83 car, that is a Ford, and then the 36. So far, 1 failure from each manufacturer. Cars laps down are Kenny Burr, who has scored a single lap down, and Elusive Man from Manco Motorsports with crash damage 3 laps down. Every other car, 27 of them, are on the lead lap.
But probably half of those have damage.
There's a really good amount of cars that are damaged, and that mainly starts back in the 20th spot, and those cars suited back. A couple of them there who just pitted, which is 21 and 37, are cars who are not damaged. We take the green flag. Caitlin Murray making a good choice, goes to the inside. That will scoot her right into the top 5. Gabron working his way around the 93. The 92 will follow. And the 92 car, another Toyota, or my bad, that's the 12 car of Aaron Gabron has had a failure. Looks like that motor blew up on him. He does have a win though, so that will be okay. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get hit.
Chase drivers having issues.
A lot of these chase drivers, yes, having issues. That's another good thing for the other drivers that will help them out points-wise. 79 car took big advantage of that and has taken the lead. That's Justin Osborne.
Alkeith not that far behind him. Trying to get his 3rd win this season.
A driver that has, yes, exactly, trying to get his 3rd win. That has also never happened before. We've never had a driver get 3 wins in one season in any season of FARCA, so that would be quite an accomplishment. In one season, he would be the most winningest driver. A push through the corner from Brad Smith. Those 2 cars jumped to the lead. Anissa Johnson took advantage of that draft on the inside and followed them. Keep in mind now, with that Ford having that failure, that gave us a failure, 2 engine failures from the Ford powerhouse. So if you're in a Ford tonight, I would be panicking. Those engines are letting go. Chris Moore and Brad Smith of Best in the World Racing, both powered by the same engine plants that failed Ron and Evan Coward, their team owner. So there they are racing each other into this corner. They need to hope that their engines do not fail.
This is a pretty good run by Chris Moore in his 2nd career start.
Not bad at all. He's driving one of the best cars he possibly could, and that is Spencer Davis's cars. Literally the best car in the field.
It's going to be interesting to see, where he ends up next season.
Would be, especially with the recent success he's had driving this car. Another note, Anissa Johnson has retaken the lead, and previous race leader Trent McPherson is working on the 79 car right now. Dodge is definitely trying to continue their success, currently in a race where they do not have a single failure.
Now you jinxed it.
Well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully not. We're still not even halfway into this.
That's right, still got about another 9 laps to go before halfway.
And wow, look at how much the elusive man holding up his own manufacturer. That's going to pretty much reset the field right here. 60 car and a block from the 78 aggressively to retain this lead. Gonna have to watch as to what happens with this lapper to see what may go on as far as field concerns.
Earlier when they tried to get around the 28, that's when we had the big wreck. With the 2, the 15, the 95.
Lots of drivers taking advantage of that. Tim Salmon, Connor Meyer, and Kyle Keith are all drivers of those. You see right here is where they bottlenecked before. Leaving turn 4 is not easy. They were able to escape it this time. Krasta won't cause disaster to those 2 drivers.
He's keeping that car pretty clean today, other than that little scuffle on pit road with the 21 earlier.
Definitely in another hold up from the leaders, and connects the leader, Chris Moore wrecks. Big trouble Can they get through? Meyer involved, the one car involved. They're flipping, Anissa Johnson flipping end over end. Another huge crack caused by a lapped car. Multiple cars annihilated from this accident. Wow.
Well, this was intended to be an endurance race, and it's got no cars left running.
It's not even part of the endurance. It's the lapped cars are just being such a nuisance. And I mean, the 27 who took the big. I mean, I've never seen a car hit so hard. It goes end over end. That was such a hard hit. You see, going into this corner, they'll catch up to the lapped car. That's Edward Manning. I don't know if his engine failed. It was a miscommunication from the spotters. The 95 car, which really late into the corner, went low where the 30 car had already committed. So he was now down below the apron and then spins below the field. Brad Smith gets away. They hit the wall. That's where you would hope they would ride against the wall. The 95 does. He gets away and will probably continue to get racing. The 91 gets hit and pinballs right in front of the 29 car. But here's where it starts to get violent. Heading at a full steam is the rest of the field. The 27 car will come in and get pushed by the 79 and 9. And that's when her car starts to tumble and will fly over the 29 car, who is also getting hit by the 79 car. Turn 4 has been evil tonight.
Definitely.
The JBL car is torn up. Even you can see where the 27 had landed on the roof of that car. The 93 of Kevin Campbell, also he flipped in that wreck. The one car who was winless and had such good hopes, the 29 car who desperately needed this. The thing is, I don't even know where these people are going to be points-wise because of the amount of wrecks we've had.
Yeah, so pretty much all race I've been looking at the points chart and kind of seeing who's in and who's out. And so far, every car that needed a win to get into the chase or stay in the chase has been wrecked.
And the fact, and what's crazy is this is our third caution. We've had just big wrecks and a few failures here and there. And we're now down to like what, 21 cars? Because that wreck right there took out 7 cars. 8 cars. Anissa Johnson's car just got marked as DNF, which now she's DNFing at the same time. I mean, the 29 car, for him to be in, needed to be ahead of the 60 car, 83 car. I would have liked to have been in front of the 27 car, but he was ahead of where he needed to be ahead of. The 91 car, who was another one he needed to be ahead of, is out. Scored 2 positions ahead of, which won't make a big difference point-wise, because I believe the 29
Really,
car made a lap.
So far, the best, I mean, I guess luckiest driver is Timmy Weathers in the 35.
Yes.
And Ryan DeLusso in the 60.
The 60 car riding in 5th. With crash damage. I mean, with this field, look at the 71 is in 8th and he has no rear end. I don't see the 60 staying there. He's got front end damage. That's going to hurt him aero-wise. 35 car, yes, he's got a good car. Those Toyotas are strong, especially when they're together like that. Can we mention last week's winner leading the race?
out of nowhere, and right behind him, Weisbecker in the 00. Neither one of those drivers, though, even with a win, will make it.
Andrew Weisbecker in second, Brad Smith third, Trenton fourth, then DeLusso. Honorable mentions, last week winners ninth. Benjamin Thomas is in 10th. He's managed to escape that second wreck, but he was involved in earlier ones. 37 with crash damages there. Right now this field's going to spread out because everybody is just wrecked.
Of all the damage.
So we're going to have a group leading and a group behind, which hopefully that will end the wrecks. But now we have a race for the bonus point. Leader in the next 2 laps gets a bonus point for the halfway. So that's going to be another big factor. We're also going to need to keep an eye on failures and see how this ends up. Or it's my bad, 22 car falls back. That's Brad Smith. Jimmy Weathers moves into the top 5. Quickly back to the lead. No surprise, Trent Pearson. He is being chased, though, by Caitlin Murray in the 92 car. Next lap around will be the bonus point awarding lap. Weathers falling right behind. This is exactly what I said. These Toyotas do really good when they're together like this. Giving the bumper to the 78, who wrecked her at Knoxville.
Trying to get that extra point.
This is the opportunity to pass. Weisbecker, slide job in the corner, gets into third. Douglas, previous week winner, or 2 weeks ago, winning at Knoxville, following. So that bonus point going to the 78 car.
When 78 wins, he will be in the chase because of just all the issues of cars in front of him.
It's exactly what he would want to hear. He's focused on just leading this race and staying blatantly alive. But we have lap cars that will always be a factor when they cycle back around. We have only 17 cars in the lead lap. The last car in the lead lap is the 42 car off pace in 17. 20 cars remain on track.
They come back up to the 95 again. Calls that last red.
What happens. A little bit of a jumble. Most of these cars get away. 35 stuck behind him. Own manufacturer there. It kind of sucks. Hope they don't jumble up here. Manning just so far off pace there's not really much he can do. Most of these stragglers following all behind him as well. Not far off, though, is the 78 from catching them. They're about just one stretch away, which, with the amount of laps we have remaining, is easy to catch up to.
And the 86 of Arthur's really doing good to him.
I mean, it's almost unfortunate with, how good he's racing, and if he were to win 2 races, he would still be ineligible to make the chase just because of how late he got into the season. The question would be, if he were to win, would FARCA grant him an exemption into being into the chase? the back bumper to the 22. They're practically pushing him.
And you have to think they'd start kind of riding it out eventually.
This is what they needed to do, was keep this calm before. There's only about 12 cars in a matter of 60 laps that have a decent pace. The 15, 51, 2, 8, and 42 are all cars who are off pace. Big Rick Johnson is the only car that was involved in the previous wreck that was able to make it out of that wreck. The rest of those cars all were DNF from the race. I was going to mention that Sanders also was the only car to not DNF the entire season that was in the top 16 points, but he was the first one out of this race. That stat was quickly gone. As they catch up to lap cars, we'll find out what happens. They will bottleneck. Smith taking advantage by gunning it to that inside lane, but man, that's going to hurt Trent. Looking up low here, trying to get onto this back straightaway.
And moving through all of the top 30 right now of the cars that didn't have DNFs. So there was the 36, which is out now. The 62, who blew a transmission. The 72, who's out. And then the 22 and 37. I think they're both still on track currently. 22 is actually leading.
22 leading, yes. 37 scored, I believe, a lap down. There's only 15 cars. Big Rick Johnson, he's one of the few left a lap down. 37 is actually in this pack, just slightly a bit off pace. Can't remember what doing. But he is here. He's just stuck behind lap traffic, as because of that being dragged behind. But he is here, and he does have speed.
I thought the 72 was off. He's still on track, so that's 3 cars.
I think there was 4 or 5 spots that were still open, not counting having a new winner. What's interesting about this, 78 has such a good car tonight. He's already back to 3rd and just put the back bumper to the 60. That car might win tonight. I might just go ahead and call that.
Well, I mean, that's a really good guess, considering, how fast he's been, how many laps he's led so far.
Because he fell back after being held up from the lapped car, and he's already recovered back to 2nd in a matter of 3 or 4 laps. I mean, Caitlin, she won.
But another car that's been following the 78 all race has been the 00.
And the 92. And the 86. Basically, our top 4 has been our best cars. Because I don't think the 92 has left the top 10 all race long. About 35 laps to go in our race. Dodge currently leading the race, the 78 and 86, heading down the back straightaway with Caitlin Marie in her GameStop Toyota and Andrew Weisbecker in the Aftershock Chevy. 2 races ago, the 21 car won the main feature at Knoxville Speedway. He is rounding out the top 10. Dodge's 3 out of 5 cars in your top 5 are Dodge.
trying to make it 3 in a row.
Trying hard, but Toyota's, in different ways, have had different ideas for this. And don't hold her up. That's your manufacturer. That's your teammate letting the Dodges go by. I don't think Manning's returning now.
Yeah, that might have just sealed his fate, depending on who wins
From
this race.
first to fifth, and gave the lead to the rival team. I'm kind of blown away to see what I just saw. But I'm happy because my team, of course, is now first and second.
Yeah.
Was riding in the top 20 about all race long. Made some wedge adjustments on the last pit stop. That's your second place car, the 21 car. Fighting same the
Also
car.
had the 63
Oh, and
drive
he's
at the
getting
back of it.
turned. Andrew Weisbecker just turned the 21 car around. A dirty move.
That was unexpected.
And it looks like there's an issue towards the 21 car. He cannot get that car refired. Trying to get the car to move. Saying it won't go into gear. Frustratingly. Wow. And can we remind you guys, in Heat 1, Andrew Weisbecker was spun out on lap 7 by the 27 car of Anissa Johnson, and that is what started the whole thing. That has been retaliation that's been building up weekend after weekend, and very patiently.
You have to wonder, if he's done.
I wonder,
Because the 78's right in front of him. That's another teammate.
Here's interesting pit strategy. The 78 stays out. He stayed out.
I mean, I guess if you have the fastest car, trying to keep it up front, it's priority.
But what patience to wait for the correct opportunity. After multiple races, the last chance race, the V main, the A main, Michigan, he waited until everything settled at Charlotte, the race before the chase, and spins him around. That is correct timing, and I actually applaud that driver. That is how you retaliate, is in a race and in a position where it counts the most. So take note of that to any driver.
Well, I mean, I guess the only thing about that is he took out the only car on that team that has a win that's guaranteed a chase spot.
That is true. The 78 probably will be a better target, but now that he also has the teammate out of the race, he can't come back and get him once the other car's taken out, because Aaron, he's locked in. This race didn't matter if he DNF'd, because he's starting at a reset points position next race no matter what happens.
See, you'd have to imagine that, he had enough anger at that team specifically, but not enough to actually hurt someone trying to get into the chase.
I wonder if that, like you said when this first happened, I wonder if that's the last we'll see from that, though.
I think the 78, the best car of that team, I think is the only car from that team still running.
And that is true. There's the last car from Western Auto Racing that is on track. Of the Dodges that remain, we have Thor Gunnarsson, who is chilling in fourth. Elusive Man laps down. I mean, he's out of this race. Can we also mention another Ford engine failure? The 22 of Brad Smith has blown an engine. He had a failed camshaft making metal, and the engine was dying. That leaves only a few cars. Lapper of Kenny Bambura in 14th. And who else of Ford is remaining? Not many cars. Actually, is that our last Ford? The 72 car?
That's the only Ford, it looks like.
Gotta make sure this is right. I think that's our last Ford. Yeah, the 21 car, they were able to get it running again. He's a lap down, but they got it running. It's stuck in 4th gear. So when he turned it around, slammed it into neutral, maxed out the RPMs, and when he threw it in first to try and save it, the gear let go. Frustration, you could hear him yelling on the radio, swear words, unhappy, of course, after having a great race, would have loved to have 2 wins. But I would be nervous in the 72 car. Would be interesting to see if every single car had a failure from that manufacturer.
I don't think they all had a failure. I think some of them were. I know the 93 was in a wreck, and I think the 63 also.
The 63, yes, involved in a wreck. The 30 car involved in a wreck. Motor blew during the accident. The 12 car had an ignition failure. 83 car piston failure. I mean, it was a common suit, but that's crazy to have every single car of it out. 77 was involved in the accident. Tony Raines, when the engine, they lost their oil cooler in that accident. That will lead us down to 19 cars. A single car spin after 00 spun out the 21 in a team retaliation effort from the Knoxville race. So that finally at least seals the deal from the Southern Pride Racing portion of that drama. I thought that he wasn't going to retaliate. I thought that had finally just been let go. So green flag is back in the air.
It always happens when you release it.
Leading the race is a 78. That damaged 71 car, believe it or not, is in 2nd place.
It's Quinn Izzo.
The 1 car, another Dodge, winless, Thor Gunnarsson, 4 poles in that racing team, the most of any driver in a single season, trying to get a win. Scott Vickers in that Pedigree 37. It is Toyota versus Dodge. Caitlin Marie, who is in 5th, racing fast to get to the front. Xavier falling behind. It is all Toyota versus Dodge up front. That is all it is up front. I think that's our whole top 10, actually. That is our whole top 10. Timmy Weathers pushing the 86, bouncing off that rear bumper. The 9 car of Benjamin Thomas, just ahead of the 51 car, who is losing positions a little rapidly. He got his lap back that last time around, but that car is still off the pace. Leading this race still is a 78 car, just
0
shy.
He's trying to make a comeback.
Yes, Weisbecker, definitely. He is moving rapidly. We're going to keep an eye on him on our bottom of our race ticker to see him moving up. He has now moved around another bit. He's in the 9th position with another Chevy of the 60 car following suit. 28 car re-entering the track after making some repairs, trying to get that car up to speed. 1 car slips up, 86 trying to take advantage of it. Marie and Weathers following right there. '78 car slips up, 86 takes full advantage of that, but those 2 Toyotas are racing really hard.
It's 35 and I'm trying to pass both of them, it looks like.
That does happen to some of these guys. You can pull a slide job here. You can make it stick. It is possible. Let's see if he tries it right here on this corner. '86 able to provide the block.
Gets one, but not both, at least not yet.
yet is happening, though. He enters the corner low, 86 goes high and lets him by. And he will let the 92 go by as well. He might be wanting to recoup, in which those dodges are. Back there we have Benjamin Thomas, who has gathered it together with oil rival Royal Purple. Pencil and Royal Purple have gotten their cars together. Another succession of drivers behind them, that's the 60 and 00. Those cars also moving fast. Lots of groups of cars. Leading this race, though, is the 92 car of Caitlin Gray. One win under her belt. Won at Watkins Glen.
And that, in a very interesting fashion, blowing the engine under the caution, but still managed to win.
Drivers gave great respect. She drove her heart out that race after having a very bad luck filled beginning to the season. And once she got that win, the things just turned around for this team. They've been really strong. They've been out there consistent top 15 for the remaining parts of the season. Less than 20 laps to go. It is still Toyota versus Dodge. There's a group of 3 leading and a group of 4 in a second pack. Arthur Xavier trying to win it off for the Dodges. This leading pack is single file while the others are kind of battling it out. That is Trenton, the 60, Weisbecker, the 00, and Thomas in the 9. If they can single file, they could all catch.
Definitely. Because there's a lot of fast cars in that group with the 00 and the 60s. Especially. And the 78 too.
And again, this lies to the question I was pondering earlier in the season. With Arthur being such a new driver, would FARCA officials want to give him an access into the chase of him winning 2 races, especially in a row?
There's definitely going to have to be a lot of talks to see, if he wins this race, what they're going to do.
Here is what will jumble everything up. We've approached lap traffic, the 42 and the 95, kind of holding these leaders up. Not really much they can do or move. They're blocking both lanes of traffic. That is going to allow that second patch of cars to catch up. But they are quite a ways back and off pace. Starting to move around them. That turns around to the 35 car of Timmy Weathers leading this thing. But they did catch a whole 2 seconds during that whole jumble.
Well, now that second pack has to deal with those 3 cars.
That is also true. And that's also adding an additional car. So what will happen when they hit? While we're watching this, keep note, Arthur Xavier is retaking the lead entering this corner. Yeah, both those left cars blocking both lanes of traffic. This is not what they wanted at all. A good points day for either of those if these guys cannot wreck it entering this corner. 60 was able to break away from that one. Elusive Man pretty much got jumped towards the outside wall. Trenton getting a bad hand at this one. He is going to be left alone from the pack while still having to fight one of the lappers. So that's really going to hurt him position-wise because he's pretty much guaranteed that spot he's stuck in now behind the 95. Who he was racing with earlier in the race for the lead before the 95 was involved in a wreck. Big Man trying to do his part for his team manufacturer. Xavier and the 92 granted an easy pass, Xavier leading this race. We are coming to almost 10 laps to go. It is still Dodge versus Toyota.
And it looks like it might end up being that for the rest of this race. these three cars right here are just going to keep swapping the lead.
They really do. Each driver's got a different method for each corner, so it's helping them out tremendously. Weathers, he seems like once he gets out there, he's got a really strong car for clean air, but he doesn't really have the speeds in the straights where he can corner like no other. The 92, while she can make a pass, she can't really retain the lead. 86, he's got a strong car, but in the straights. So each car has got a different feature that they can really utilize on.
Now the 35 is pretty much at this point locked into the chase.
Definitely is.
He was 1 point below the 19. The 19 wrecked a long time ago. So a win would just help his chase starting position.
Exactly. We give him an extra 5 spots. An extra 5 points, I should say, as to starting in the chase. And then, as I say, better in the turns and making passes. There goes the 92 car. 86 follows suit. But here comes some laps of traffic. How will they deal going around these cars, which are blocking both lanes of traffic? The 00 is 5 seconds behind. Quite cleanly goes the 92 and 86, actually. They actually stayed out of the leader's way this time around. But here is a teammate. This is the 51. Lets the 92 go by, but is attempted to block the 86. 35 tried to make an opportunity on that, just not enough room. Less than 10 laps to go. Who are we going to get a win out of?
Looking at the 3 drivers who are going to win this race, more than likely. I'm willing to say that.
I am definitely, unless for some reason there is a failure. Here comes the 21 car. This is satellite team to the 86. Will he try and block the Toyotas? Notice the 86 stays high. There's almost contact. Caitlin shuts the door, says no, not happening. A try.
Well, she had nothing to lose, so.
There was definitely something to be tried, and the Toyotas capitalized on it and made sure it didn't happen. 86 now trying to use the draft to catch back up. Caitlin, with 6 laps to go, has got a half-second lead. '86 moves into second. He's got a fast car in the draft. There's more lap traffic to be caught up to. We have just 5 laps to go as we come back to this. And we have more lap traffic to deal with. This may be the deciding factor of the race. Caitlin with the win, trying to get her second. Moves to the inside of the lapped cars. 86 is following. 95 car does move down. That is going to hold them up. Who will be able to make the pass, though? He moves out of the way. 86 tries to side draft, blocks the 35 car. We have 4 laps to go.
35 trying to get on the inside of that 36 to slow him down.
Trying as hard as he can. That captain will dodge, throwing the block as much as he can. We're trying to gain a run on the 92 car. There goes the 35 to the inside of the 86. 86 moved out of the groove. He is able to hold on to it, but will that be a time for him to catch back up? Close caller, but leading that time around was still the 92 car by 0.5 of a second. 35 car jumps to the lead, but that might have been a jump of the gun.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit too soon, considering how much these cars have been swapping the lead.
I think he just set the 92 car up for a win if he doesn't check out right here. It'll be white flag next time around. Don't be surprised if something changes. They're going to rebunch just in time. We are about to take the white flag.
And there's the 8 car again.
That's also a dodge, so let's see what can happen. They saw the teammates, the 21 tried last time, but it looks like he's going to try and just let them fight it out. It says just race. It is the last lap. White flag is in the air. 35 car Timmy Weathers leading to get his first win. Marie following closely behind. Previous race winner Arthur Xavier. 92 peeking to the inside. She's going to try. Checkered flag is in the air, but she is staying behind and pushing the 35. Timmy Weathers wins at Charlotte.
His first career win.
After what is thought to be a dramatic race with multiple large crashes and only 9 cars finishing on the lead lap. What a race we had.
It's definitely an endurance race, that's for sure.
See the exchange of actually nice gestures for the clean racing provided from these 3 cars despite the race they had a few races ago. Hats off to the Chevys of Andrew Weisbecker and DeLusso for finishing the top 5. Man. Well, I'm sure you're nervous but also happy. What are your words after a unexpected race at Charlotte?
Well, I mean, I'm glad to have another Toyota in the chase. That's definitely going to help out. I'm hoping that I still make it in.
It's going to be, I would say, close. It will be interesting, but another Toyota is indeed in, and I believe, I want to say maybe we even have another Dodge in. I have to check and see where Ben did because he made up so much ground with the other cars DNFing so early. There's many cars that need to be checked to see where they may be at because points had condensed so much before this race. And then the wrecks, which were completely unexpected, just took everything by storm. We thought this was going to be a nice, cool, calm, and collected race because it's an endurance race. We were anticipating more failures than we saw, but then we never saw much of it because so many cars wrecked out. What a way to end off TNT and the regular season finale. Speed Channel, a special series of Speed being hosted by Fox, will be showing the chase for the Lowe's Championship at Homestead Miami Speedway. That is coming to you guys next week. 40 cars, 16 chase drivers, and only a handful of those will get to make it to the finale of the race. So we will see you guys next time. Thank you for sticking with us throughout this long race. It has been a decent plus hour. We will enjoy it at the next race.